So lately I've been seeing a lot of headlines about how riding a motorcycle can benefit your mental health, can reduce stress, can reduce anxiety. Um, and as someone that has suffered from panic attacks, anxiety, and depression in the past, my initial experience with learning how to ride a motorcycle did not do anything to reduce my panic and anxiety. In fact, I probably felt more panicked and more anxious when I was sitting on the motorcycle. However, in order to learn how to ride a motorcycle, I had to learn how to deal with that panic and anxiety. And there's one thing that happened as I've been learning that has totally changed my life and totally benefited my mental health in a totally unexpected way. And I want to share it with you. Leslie 66 here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. So before I get started on this talk, I really wanted to tell you how grateful I am that the subscribers that I have on my page, you guys are all really nice people. I've been luckily troll free. You know, I don't have any unrealistic expectations about that, but everybody seems to be following the general rule that you guys all watched Bambi, right?
If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
So I was wondering if you guys have ever heard this phrase, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Or I believe there's even a book that's entitled How You Do Anything is How You Do Everything. Not sure the origins. I believe it's Zen Buddhism. But so what does this have to do with learning how to ride a motorcycle? So this is a phrase that I've always understood what it meant and understood what the benefits of putting it into practice would mean. However, I have not been able to put it into practice. So I've always been able to sort of recognize that certain habits of mine are counterproductive. And habits are the things that we're doing when we're not mindful. And mindful sounds like a hippy dippy, yoga term and all, but really all mindfulness is paying attention to what you're doing as you're doing it. And it's super important on a motorcycle. Really the difference between reacting, which is unconscious, and responding, which is conscious, is what you're dealing with on the motorcycle, at least when you're learning. Eventually, hopefully you build up enough muscle memory so that your responses in certain situations when you're on the motorcycle become reactions. And those reactions are sort of our habits. So I know my habits as I approach life, I sort of wing it. When I learn things, I sort of just throw myself all into something and, will learn from my mistakes, but that's kind of dangerous on a motorcycle. You can't just wing it. You have to really understand what to do, because there are so many things on a motorcycle that are counterintuitive. For instance, what's a reaction that even some people that have been riding for a long time, if they're going too fast and you don't think you're going to be able to swerve out of the way of something, or you're taking a turn and you think you're going to overshoot it, you grab the brake. I mean, it's just an instinct. It's a reaction. It's not a response because it's not well thought out. So it's part of those habits, right? So here I am learning how to ride a motorcycle and realizing I can't be reactive. I can't be overly anxious about things. I can't just wing it and see what happens, because I'm going to get hurt. And I'm finding that I'm very process oriented, and that I'm pulling myself back, and that I'm being really patient with myself. And one of the things about motorcycle riding is how much thinking ahead you have to do. Not just when you're on the bike, but I find that I stopped eating a lot of sugar and drinking a lot of caffeine because I felt like it was making me more nervous and less focused, actually. Most people don't have that experience with caffeine, but for me, that's what I was finding with the caffeine and sugar. So I found that, I don't want to drink a lot of caffeine or eat a lot of junk food before I go riding. So all of a sudden I started eating really healthy and my mind started feeling clearer. I'm finding that as I learn to stop reacting when I'm on the bike, I'm being less reactive in my life. I'm pausing, I'm slowing down. So reacting versus responding, this is a big deal. This is a big change. I'm just noticing I can't react. Another little thing about motorcycles is you have to think ahead for every little thing. Like if you're going to pull into a parking space, you have to think like, how am I going to get out of it? Is it on an incline down? Like, are you going to be able to pull it back up the hill backwards? Or, these, like every little thing, like if you're just stopping at a stop sign, is there gravel in the road? Is it greasy? Is it uneven? You have to think about so many little things. So I'm finding how I do motorcycles is starting to translate in how I do everything. I'm thinking ahead. I'm being more responsive and less reactive. I'm thinking about how the little tiny details in my habits make up the big picture of my life. How not planning and winging it can cause more anxiety in my life, not paying attention to what I'm eating and things like that. So I gotta be honest, initially when I was like first starting to learn, just sometimes thinking about sitting on the bike would make me so anxious. Like I would almost have a panic attack, like thinking about getting back on my bike, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, So I had to start addressing my reactions and digging down deep and to see, what was causing all of this. And it really always turns out it's never one huge thing. It's always a whole bunch of little things, like my eating habits, my sleeping habits, and just my ability to plan ahead and balance my checkbook and make sure my finances are in order. Those are all things that in this weird roundabout way, it's not about getting on the bike and feeling free for me. Which of course is that wonderful feeling that we all want when we're riding our motorcycles. But the unexpected benefit that I have found is it's finally that thing where how I do motorcycles is how I do everything, and getting rid of reacting and starting to respond in life, and just developing some really healthy habits. So I was just wondering, like, has anyone else had this experience where they feel like once they started riding a motorcycle, they made little changes in their life that ended up starting to create bigger changes in their life? Or do you feel like you've always been like a process-oriented person and that's why riding motorcycles was something that was appealing to you? Or are you just like a super impulsive adrenaline junkie and you wing it and you just get on the bike and go, and you don't have my problems where you can't reach both feet to the floor? Like that was something that actually forced me to have to be extremely process oriented with the motorcycle. So guys, those are my thoughts on mental health and creating good habits while riding a motorcycle, and how you do one thing and how it can translate into how you do everything. And let me know in the comments below what positive changes learning how to ride a motorcycle has made in your life. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for joining me.